Hey guys, today while the stencil dries, we've got Chris Sinclair in the house for a chat. So Chris Sinclair owns 11 Pillars and's been tattooing for quite some time now. Thanks for coming down.
Oh, thanks so much for having me out.
So where did you start out? What made you first think that tattooing was a pathway?
Well, originally, so I started tattooing 12 years ago, but before that, I don't know, I did a bunch of odd jobs here and there, but everything I sort of kept coming back to was drawing. So I wanted to do something that involves art in some sort of way. But it wasn't until I started getting tattooed when I was like 14, 15, and then I like developed more of an interest in it. And then, yeah, it took me a while to actually get an apprenticeship. Like got turned away from so many shops and then eventually landed one in Hampton Park. I started off.
Yeah. So you tried on and off for like what, a few years?
Yeah, until, well, pretty much from like 18 when I got my first little like shitty little eBay kit, as most artists do. And then it wasn't until I was like 21 that I actually got an apprenticeship and started from there.
It's so funny, like guys, in it as long as we've been, it's such the wrong thing to do to go get an eBay kit and start
It
tattooing. That's exactly how I started. And so many people like around my age all started the same way and they got taught by tattooers still. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty funny how it's so shunned, but
It
we all,
is.
and everyone that did it says not to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. We're always telling people, like people that'll come in wanting apprenticeships or whatever, and they'll show us like their portfolio of stuff that they've done either on their friends or like fake skin or everything. And we're like, all right, you need to put the machine down and just forget everything you've learned and then go back to the basics when you actually get an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, but it's like the same stuff we were all doing.
Yeah. Well, at least I guess I learnt pretty quick that I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah,
And
100%.
I went looking for an apprenticeship
Yeah.
instead of just still hacking away at home. And then you've obviously done the same thing.
Yeah, I tattooed a few of my mates, cousins, and everything. Some that they still have today, and it's every time I see them, it's just so bad. And I
Yeah.
want to cover it up, but they won't let me now.
Yeah. Yeah. I
But
practice on a bunch of mates. And then
yeah,
I've had other mates like cover up almost every one of those tattoos.
yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
like, that's fine. I'm not hurt.
yeah. There's definitely some shockers out there. Where did you start off originally?
Where? Yeah, well, I started at home, tattooing mates, and then my first studio when I got an apprenticeship was in St. Albans,
Uh,
um, on Main Road West, and I basically practiced covering up track marks and
oh yeah,
junkies, and that was basically most of my learning experience.
yeah,
Yeah, it's great.
yeah. That's good.
So, how long did you do a traditional apprenticeship?
It's not like, I don't know. It wasn't like structured in a sense. Like I wasn't under one artist in particular. I wasn't predominantly learning from them exactly. It was just sort of shop apprentice, just sort of learn a bit from everyone. But my main sort of mentor, who was Ian Mara, he was like more of a neo-trad artist. So I had to learn everything in his sort of way, which was good. But then I actually started off wanting to get into tattooing to do more new school. Me and Nato NK Tattoos as well. He was the same. We both wanted to do new school. And then obviously the first few years of trying to figure it out, we realized like new school's just not that popular. And then we both sort of went into different directions.
Yeah, I think New School definitely had smaller run than a lot of styles did.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not very popular. Feel like I started sort of growing like clientele in it, but then it's like if you're not constantly pushing it, it's just not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. So what have you found yourself doing more of now?
Now I pretty much just specialize in like horror, black and gray realism. I do enjoy doing color every now and again. It's just I don't really get a lot of requests for it, but I
Yeah.
also like predominantly doing black and grays.
Yeah. It's one of those things. If you post black and gray all the time, that's what people ask for.
Yeah. Yeah. And then just sort of like targeting like my content and everything towards more horror esque, black and gray in general sort of audiences also helps drive that. So, yeah.
Do you do much art outside of tattooing?
I do a lot of like charcoal drawing, but I was just saying to my wife Anna E the other day, who's also sitting right here. Um, So shout out to her and Po. Yeah, I've also just like been inspired just the other day into like actual painting and stuff as well. So I actually really want to give that a go, which we might do once we finish here. Go to Office Works and get some canvases and whatnot.
Yeah, you did one of the vases for us for Amphora, which
Yeah.
was like so popular. It got a lot of interest. I can't remember how much it sold for, but I think it was definitely one of the highest ones there.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. So how did you do that? Was that sort of just acrylic paints
No,
or?
that was just charcoal as well.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, so sort of like shave it all off onto the actual vase and then just like smudge it in with either my hand or a makeup brush. And then, yeah, it's just sort of usually erase most of it to get like the highlights and everything. And then, yeah, just put like what's it called? Just like a sealer over the top so it doesn't, smudge or anything.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I was really happy with how it came out. That was the first time, obviously, doing charcoal on a vase or even anything on a vase. So that was like, it was nerve wracking at first because it wasn't going the way I wanted it to. But then, yeah, it worked out.
Yeah, we had a few people. I think one of them had like the gold chip glue back together, and then
Yeah, I
it had
saw that. That
fuck
was
written
cool.
on it.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming they've dropped it,
Yeah.
stuck it back together.
Yeah. Well, because of that, I ended up getting a couple more from you guys as well. And I was going to I've done one more so far with Ghostface. And then I was going to start another one. And as I was washing it, it cracked and then just shattered on the floors.
Yeah,
I haven't done one since. But
yeah.
yeah.
And so you've got 11 Pillars Studio. How long have you had that running for now?
I would say in total, not quite 2 years.
And how long were you tattooing before you opened up?
Tattooing in general, it would have been about 10 years. Yeah.
All right. And that was your first studio that you've opened?
Yeah, that was our first shop, mine and my wife's. And then, so we had a fire, obviously. And then that pushed us back a little bit. So we ended up going to like a private studio for a couple of months. And then we ended up moving to our new building. And we've been there for maybe a year. Yeah, coming to about a year. Yeah.
How many artists have you got there?
So far, we got seven artists in total, one apprentice. But yeah, I don't think we could really fit more in at the moment, which also sucks because a lot of shops that are closing down, we are getting more and more artists come in applying as well, but we just don't have the room.
Yeah. How do you find managing artists, going from artist to studio owner? Obviously, then you're managing artists there as well. What kind of expectations do you set? Do you expect people in every day, or is it more relaxed? Or
It's a bit more chill. Especially because all of us are from further southeast, so we travel into Oakleigh like every day. So it's quite a big ask to ask people to come in every day, even if they don't have bookings on. So for the most part, we usually have like at least one other artist just sort of hanging around. And he does all the marketing and content side of the shop and everything. And then I sort of take care of all the supplies and the artists and everything. But I think it is a big difference because obviously not every artist is so different, especially the way you communicate with them. And, if there's feedback or anything you need to give, it can be a bit tricky.
yeah, has it definitely changed your perspective, shifting from into like it's like being a boss but not a boss. They work for you but they don't.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing. Like obviously you can't tell anyone to come in and clean the shop because it's like they're subcontractors at the end of the day. So they're sort of running their own business. But yeah, luckily we haven't really had to deal with any major issues with artists. I find we've definitely got a good crew on. There's no egos. We all get along. We all bully each other. So we're all sort of on the same level. In a sense, no one's above each other. So we've never really had any issues like that.
It's good. It's hard to balance. It can be hard to balance that stuff.
Yeah.
I find, being in such a grey area, where sort of you've got to expect things of people, but you can't ask too much of them either.
For sure. Yeah, ego is definitely one of the biggest things to squash, or something that can impact the overall vibe of the shop. Ego is definitely the biggest thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, luckily we haven't had to deal with any of that. So it's all been good so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess tattooing for over a decade now, is there been times in your career where you've sort of felt like giving it up, or are you just always passionate? You couldn't imagine doing anything else?
I couldn't imagine doing anything else. Like before I started tattooing, I was doing like my certificates and stuff in like bricklaying and landscaping. And even though I liked doing the landscaping, it's just not something I could see myself doing forever. And then, yeah, I've just always had that passion for art and tattooing. So every new piece is like a learning curve. So it's constantly adapting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys all in an open space where you can bounce off each other, or do you have like separate areas?
No, it's all open. It's all open. Like we have little partitions for each station, but for the most part, we're all yelling across the room and everything. I don't like to sort of be in like a private setting. I'd rather be at more open plan, and 'cause we all talk and whatnot. So yeah, we just prefer it that way.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, now I have questions for you. Actually,
All
I
right.
took my notes down.
It's taking a turn.
Yeah. Yeah, asking you the questions now. One of them was, how did you get into supplying?
Supplies. Well, I guess I thought about it for quite a while before I did it. I guess everyone's had ideas like that coming through. At the time, I guess it was a little bit different. We had like a few main suppliers. I just wanted quick and easy. Just
Mhm.
click, all the inventory's there. You don't have to check that something's in stock. Just push a button, pay for it, and get it sent out.
Yeah.
And then just a good mix of products as well. There was one supplier that had some great stuff, but nothing ever in stock.
Yeah.
There was another one, the website was just really old and outdated and hard
Mhm.
to use on a mobile. And then I guess I've just always had an interest in business and doing projects,
Yeah.
I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So, and I was always like importing and trying different stuff from overseas. I just find like a company from overseas, whether it be back in the day when cartridges first started, like T-Tech from Canada,
Yeah.
and I'd order needles from there. So I guess it was just combining all of that and putting it together. And then I guess ultimately as well, business wise, it's always been a backup, a stream of income. If something happened to me,
Mm.
that I could still have a business and an income.
Yeah.
And that streams from opening my first studio. I had cancer when I was like 26, and then I was probably 6 months into my apprenticeship.
Mm.
And then I was off work, not being able to tattoo. I think the government gave me like literally $24 a week, $48 a fortnight in sickness allowance while I couldn't work with cancer treatment.
What the hell are you meant to do with that?
Yeah, it was fucked. And that's all we got from them. And then that's when I decided I needed a backup in case something ever happened again. And yeah, I guess it's just kept evolving from there. And that's always been in the back of my mind.
Yeah, that's cool.
Mm.
The other one is expos. What made you want to get into that? Because I watched one of your videos behind the scenes. I'm pretty sure it was, and you had like pretty much the same sort of mindset that me and Annie talk about all the time, and that was changing the stigma behind expos. The whole like bikey sort of scene, not only the music, but like I remember one of the last expos we did. It was just like basically strippers on stage in sex noise competitions, and I'm like, we don't want to bring our child to this or even like necessarily support it. So it's like,
Yeah, no, that's definitely part of it. A big part of it. I remember taking my two young girls, I don't know, like 6 years old, 3 years old, something like that, walking through an expo. And then we walked past and looked down, and there was literally a blow up pool with jelly wrestling
yeah,
going on. And I'm like, fuck, I got my kids here. So I guess that was a big thing. And then, yeah, the whole like, I wanted to steer away from sex and tattoos being so closely aligned.
yeah,
Like, it's tattooing's grown and evolved so far,
mm,
and it's every person imaginable is into tattoos and gets tattooed these days. And I wanted to open it up and just be more like, I guess, accessible to the general public,
yeah,
and not so, I guess, people hesitant about walking through and what am I
yeah,
going to see here? So we just wanted to turn it into like a more inviting environment.
for sure.
People that can bring their kids. There's plenty of people into tattoos that are shy around some of that stuff.
It can be quite intimidating.
Yeah, exactly. So not everyone's comfortable. And yeah, I guess it was just a lot of the same over and over again.
Yeah.
We wanted to do something a little bit different. Everyone has their different ideas on what they want. Lots of people have had ideas about running their own expo before. So
Mm.
I just sort of put together everything I wanted to do. And I also wanted to have a big focus on artists reaching new clientele
Mm.
because I was always very specific in why I did expos and wanted to get that message across to artists as well.
Yeah.
I found a lot of artists go to an expo with the mentality of if I spent $1,500 on a booth and $1,000 on accommodation and flights, I need to make 7 grand. That's been
Yeah.
a waste of my time.
Yeah.
And no one looks into it as marketing and advertising
Same.
because I'd go do an expo and then literally a year later, someone will be like, oh, I've been following you since this expo. Now I'm ready
Yeah.
to go get a sleeve or whatever it may be and book in later on. So
Yeah.
it's that future marketing and it's not just a one off cash grab.
100%.
So yeah, I've got a big focus on advertising to the general public to bring them down to actually get tattooed at the event and talk to people. Yeah, I guess that's sort of what got me to do it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely a good mentality to have going into that. I think it is, like we said, it is pretty intimidating for a lot of people. But yeah, also using it as the marketing behind it is definitely probably the most important thing because I have heard a lot of artists at other expos, talk about, "Oh, I have to do these other tattoos just so I can like break even or whatever." But it's like you're sort of missing the point of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think,
Absolutely. It's not a cash grab about walking away with 5 grand at the end of the weekend.
yeah,
It's definitely marketing, getting your brand out there
yeah, for
and
sure.
networking.
It's just I feel like the whole vibe is different to other expos that we've done before. Because this one I actually went and had the confidence to go and like actually talk to other artists and everything. Wade Lucas was another one who you had on as well. We talked like years ago, I think maybe even before he started tattooing. So we followed each other on socials for all these years, and I only just met him at the Inked Expo just gone.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, he's a real nice dude. But yeah, just so many other artists as well that I've never had, I don't know, the courage. I'm like real, almost sort of like fangirl a little bit. And I get real nervous talking to people. So yeah, that sort of held me back a little bit. But I don't know, something about the whole overall vibe there was just different.
Yeah, it's
It's
good.
good.
Obviously more relaxed and comfortable. And hopefully if you as someone a little bit more reserved is then more confident to go and talk to artists. And I'm hoping the general public that comes through
Mhm.
has that same feeling
Yeah.
and they're more comfortable to be like, hey, I love your work. Like, where are you based? And start those conversations. So,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I had like someone come up and say, he was a TikTok guy. Like, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So, as far as expos go, it's definitely worth long term and then getting those conversations with people. I think, yeah, one of the things we wanted to do was that overwhelming, music pounding. You have to shout to have a conversation with someone.
Yeah.
So um, I'm always listening and paying attention to what the background level's like. It should be a background level and not a thumping sort of music and stuff going on. Because, when expos did have that atmosphere, everybody would just sit in their booth with their headphones on so they could concentrate on what they're doing and then, sort of disassociate from everyone around them.
Mm.
And then no one would be talking to each other because it was just
Can't
hard
hear
to have a
anything.
physical conversation.
It is so overwhelming sometimes. Like you can only like you're trying to concentrate on the piece or people walking up to the booth, but then you got all this music going on in the background. It's just yeah, it can be a bit too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where do you see the studio going in the future?
It's a good question. I don't know. Sort of like we're sort of happy with our vibe and the artists that we have now. We definitely want to expand into even different territories, probably within the industry itself, but also just like yeah, new art ventures and stuff. In terms of the studio, we have no idea. We want to have like a big enough space so that we can actually have like artists wanting to do like actual paintings or whatever they want to do. That still sort of revolves around art, but not necessarily tattooing in general. But yeah, I don't know. I've got like all these ideas that I just come up with. I have a little notepad that every time I get an idea, I just sketch it in there just so I've got it. But then it's just like trying to figure out which one I sort of really want to do. Because I find I get like passionate about things really quickly, but then like by the following week, I'm like onto something new already. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just trying to pick one.
Can't do everything at once.